Thanks for staying with us. Today on the show, we'll be discussing the financial discipline as a result of the recent economic realities that we're facing. How are we coping efficiently after the subsidy removal, the rising food inflation, high cost of goods and services, low income hardship across the nation, especially in view of recent times when we had our guest, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, who admonished Nigerians on how to tighten up the belt, how to manage their financial resources in view of our realities today. Much later in the show, we'll be having a guest, a chartered accountant, who will be sharing with us some professional tips. But first, we'd like to open our phone lines to our viewers to share with us what they're doing, especially in this season. What are you doing to tighten your belt? What kind of decisions are you making internally at home to adjust? How can people learn from your own choices to make the right decisions, especially during this season? You can call us on 081 076 41679 090 241 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC as we read your tweets. Please, how are you managing your finances this time? I remember when Dr. Lumine had come on the show. I wasn't here, but I know I watched it several times. He had saying that, who told you education must be a certain time? You have to start. You don't have to start a daycare for a creche. You know how we pay for creche and daycare. You don't have to start school until you really have to start school. Maybe now that it was trending to have your child to be in a daycare and a creche, maybe now you just let the child stay at home and resume when they actually need to be in school. No, there are different things we have to adjust to. Even in food, how we're buying food, what are we buying? I have told on this show several times that I've stopped buying the box cereal for many times. Although Titi's mom called me, I'll give my children cereal. I'm like, Mommy, it's expensive. Because when you open one box,
it finishes.
It's done. Like when the 4 kids drink it, you only have enough for 2 more bowls. And that 2 more bowls, you now start fighting who's going to eat it, who's not. So it's always a drama in my house. I don't even bother buying them anymore. But so how, ladies, let me come to you. How are you? What have you adjusted? Especially
when you shared that story, I think it's been a while. It's not even in this recent economic.
It's the former one.
The former economic one. It's not floating.
Yes.
And when you said it, I took it. I took it. Because I think mine also buttressed the fact that there are healthier
options,
meal options that we could take. Yeah. So I took and implemented even before this season. So we are having this conversation. It's not a lamentation. It is practical steps. And I believe that when you're watching, you should also look at your own life and adjust accordingly. But I would like to hear from Toby.
Okay, so for the first time in my life, in my married life, I went to mile 12. To buy in bulk. And when I went there, I was shocked to see the level of, commerce that goes on there. I usually would have heard it over and over again. But me going there, and as I was just buying things, I was just saying, never will I buy anything in my area again. Never, God forbid. And I was just saying it. And to be honest, since that time, we've not gone to the market. And I was like, gosh. So if this situation didn't happen, it wouldn't have pushed me to understanding that things can be gotten in a cheaper way. Then another thing I also do is that I engage my son in the conversation. I have 2 boys, but one is able to understand at this age. So even if there are things in the house, I try to ration it and explain to him that you would have it, but you can't have it now. And just bring him into the conversation such that things that would naturally take maybe 3 times in a day, he can now reduce it. And that's not me being wicked. That's me just making him understand that life is in phases, and there are times when it's not always abundance, just to make him understand that irrespective of the situation he finds himself in, he can adjust easily. So that's another thing. And then I've also learned to be very creative with business. Things that pushed over time, saying that this one business will be fine, because the rate at which we spend more these days is now higher. I now have to be creative with the way I do things and posting more videos and being more intentional about selling my market and not just being shy about it, And one of the things I postponed, trying to run a business for my children, starting a food business for my children, we launched it in this subsidy removal, era. And the progress made from that also is just so phenomenal, and I'm just grateful for this season, even though I would have preferred that it wasn't this tight, but it's just pushing me to be more creative about the things I would naturally just leave aside.
Okay, let me take Dr. Akanbi. We're having our phone lines open pretty early to hear from our viewers. Dr. Akanbi, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, first time on the call.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is a beautiful topic this morning, actually.
Yes, go ahead.
How to cope with the current, sharing from a personal experience. Well, luckily I got myself a bicycle to minimize my movement.
Really?
Car. Yes. I got the bicycle, then had to reduce the quantity of, the meat that kids consume by turning from large tin can to a sachet, so no more wastage. So one way or the other, that will reduce wastage. Then there is, how will I put it now? I've improved on efficiency in auditing of food in the house to minimize a lot of wastage. So we reduce wastage in the house. In fact, it's funny to know that there are a lot of wastage going on that we have to minimize and prevent.
Right.
So, and all things being equal, with reduction there and there, the family is coping, and friends and family are not as well affected with whatever assistance we are rendering today. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Interesting, just like, while he was speaking, because I remember that the previous financial crisis was when I put those policies in place. And even in my house, we had the 101. We have breakfast, no lunch, then we do dinner. But even now, what we've done is that we've pushed breakfast to much later. So breakfast is coming around like 11-ish, so the kids are just playing, they always go downstairs and have their basic, maybe slice of bread, because there's always bread. That one is constant in the house. You brush your teeth, you can just put some butter on the bread, and that holds them till maybe proper breakfast, or maybe beans bread is done, or jam and egg, something is done at 11. Everybody has breakfast. And then dinner is about 6-ish. And we're done for the day. It's now back to back, because I can't be doing 3 meals a day in this economy. I don't even know who does. You do 3 meals?
They do 3 meals.
Wow.
My kids are they were very skinny. My kids were not really eating. I felt they were not eating well, and it didn't look. I struck by. I'm always like, they're okay, but I always just felt like I wasn't feeding them enough. So I'm happy that at 11 there now. So I'm not. I don't want them not to eat. What I don't want is no waste. So last night they were supposed to have yam and stew. They said the stew was watery because I cooked the stew myself. They like stew like
thick,
very thick. And it was a watery stew, and they said one of them said he wasn't going to eat it. I said, okay, no, you're not hungry. He said, actually, I wasn't really hungry. I said, I've already told my house girl that if the children are not hungry, don't cook for them. Put it in the fridge. I will eat it tomorrow. And that's what we do. We don't throw. Sometimes people used to put the food in the microwave that they'll eat it later, and they actually forget till the next day, which is bad. So I said, don't leave your leftover meals in the microwave. Always put it in a bowl, put it in the fridge. That way, it is not wasted. Part-time, I want to hear from you, Mariam.
Okay, I'll come to Mariam in a second. Let me take Tunde from Magodo. Thank you, Tunde, for calling.
Yeah, very good morning, Morayo.
You're live.
Please,
yes.
I just want, good morning. I just want to tell the people, the motorists like me, that drives around with this fuel situation, always make sure,
Oh, Tunde, we need to talk to Tunde. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Now we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. Make your hashtag your boomer zone. By the time you make your hashtag your boomer zone, so you want to top up, you're not going to spend much. Either you spend, buy about 20 liters, which are about 12,000 or 11,000.
So make your half tank when you refill.
Exactly, the boomer zone. So you make your half tank, you don't need to wait until your first day started showing red.
Yeah. That's a good idea, Tunde. Yes, that's a fantastic idea. Let me come to you, Mariam. Fueling, I'm going to come after that.
I feel like when it comes to food or whatever in my house, we've never been very excessive anyway. I'm lucky my kids don't like the cereal, whatever. They prefer to eat proper food. Also, maybe I'm lucky I have a smaller size family. But one thing I know I've done recently is I have ugu, I have pepper, I have stuff that I asked my gardener, so I'm doing that. I want to be able to get that from my house instead of going to the market to buy it, because it's penny wise, pound foolish. I think mostly, if you look at it, it's in those tiny, tiny things that you find that the expenses pile up. The children, the only thing with the children and eating is, now I insist, because now that they're on holiday, they're hungry at weird times. Very late, when you have asked them to go to bed, that's when they will tell you they're hungry. I will say, I'm sorry, you have to go to bed. As long as I know that you've had dinner, then just go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, if you wake up hungry, then have a proper breakfast. At least, because if you go to bed having eaten all sorts of stuff, then you will not even have a proper breakfast. Before I know it, I'm running again to make lunch or so.
When you said something, I just remembered something. So for my milk, they used to take a lot of milk. I used to buy the big bags, and then I decided I would buy the sachet. That one was easier for me because I give you one sachet and you're fine. But what we found out, in fact, this was just last week, my help then saw 4 sachets in my kid's bag. So they hide it. So I had to call for a meeting. I said, the owner of the bag, I don't want to mention the person's name. The owner of the bag, I called that person. I said, why did they find 4 in your bag? And the person said that, well, at night, I get hungry, I go downstairs, and I open it, and I put it in my bag. So she doesn't put it, the person doesn't want to put it in the bin, so the help won't see it. So puts it in the school bag. And it's just, there's no school bag, you're going to check your school bag. Yeah. So it just so happened that my help was just looking around the house and just cleaned up the bag. And then saw 4, I was livid. So now I'm thinking that, how are we going to help these kids? They wanted, she said she was hungry at night, and she, well,
When a child, honestly, for me...
So my help was angry, we hoped that I was beat up the child. But I understood that...
If a child is hungry, a child should eat, honestly. So we differentiate between craving snack and actual hunger.
Yeah.
And that was, Dr. Lumide really gave me a good perspective on that. Like, if you are truly hungry, eat. But if it is that you are just, I want to snack on something, no, you can't just...
Shouldn't we snack?
Yes, we have snack, and I took my, and thankfully I have somewhere I get plantain chips that they can snack on, and I feel like we can do that, but I also limit what they are snacking on. But the real thing that, what she did, I didn't go to the market. There are 2 things I used to do before. Because I'm so busy, I don't want to cook. And I'll buy soups. My dear Nigerians, I have stopped buying soups. My soup customer has been checking on me. Auntie Emo, as your soup not finished, my mom came to the house. She said, your freezer is empty. I said, Mommy, I'm waiting to empty the freezer, then stock and cook. See me with big, it's been a long time, like in the past 6 years, I've not cooked. I brought out a massive pot, did massive stew, while doing massive egusi, as like my husband was eating, I said, I've missed your food. I've been busy, I've not been cooking. But with the economy, we cannot be buying 1 4-liter bowl of soup for 30-something thousand, for something thousand. So businesses are going to change, and some businesses will be affected. And maybe if we come back, we can talk to those businesses whose business model would be easily dispensed in this economy.
Okay, we're going to go on a break now. We'll come back, we'll still discuss fashion and the whole work. Stay with us to break back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.